Hey guys, today I'm going to tell you the story about how I almost died when I was 7. So, if you guys don't know, I have epilepsy, just minor staring spells. We were testing out different medications for me. A lot of them had behavioral side effects, a lot of them had just not good side effects that didn't work with me. So, we kept changing my medication. I went on this one medication. I remember it being okay at first, but then I started noticing that my ankles were a little bit more tender. Like, when people would try to touch my ankles, I would start crying. And then I noticed that one of my ankles was getting progressively more and more sore. So, and then my other ankle started hurting. But it just started hurting a little bit. The other ankle was hurting really bad to the point where I couldn't walk. So my parents got me a little brace and some crutches, just to see if I can get around with that. It worked for a while. It worked throughout most of first grade. I will say in first grade, the one thing with me is I never get to perform. Something always happens whenever I have a dance recital. I get sick, I get an injury, something always happens. This 6th grade was the one year I got to perform. Nothing bad was happening to me. I got to perform, I was fine. So yeah, my ankles started getting sore, and I didn't know what was going on. So it was mostly my right ankle, if I remember correctly. So I had crutches, my parents got me a little brace. I did end up performing, even though it hurt really bad. I was taking ballet at the time, but now I take hip-hop and lyrical. I was taking ballet at the time, so they wanted me to look like the other girls, so they didn't let me wear my brace, which was just stupid because I needed it to walk. So yeah, I was limping the entire time. It got to the point where I wasn't just limping, I was dragging my foot. I was not even picking it up off the ground. So, yeah, it got to that point. And then one day I woke up and my other ankle was a lot more sore. And it wasn't just my ankle, it was up to my mid-calf or so. So, yeah, there was that. We did not know what was going on. We didn't know what was causing this. We didn't know if it was one of those diseases where your muscles start weakening over time and you have to end up in a wheelchair, but we didn't know what was going on. I was so scared because I was only 6, 7, 8 years old. And that summer, I managed crutches. I was going to this summer camp called Chaos, and I managed with crutches for half the week, and then the third day I just could not walk. I could not walk at all. So I didn't go to my summer camp that day, and they got me a wheelchair. It wasn't just one of those hospital wheelchairs. It was one of those wheelchairs, not electronic, but where it's tight fit, where you'd see someone who was paralyzed. Yeah. So it was really bad. And I'm 7 years old. I don't know what's going on. I thought the wheelchair was cool. I always wanted to ride in a wheelchair, but my dad pulled me off aside and was like, "Listen, hon, I know you think this is a cool little toy for you, but it's really hard for me as a parent to see you like this." And I was just but yeah, so that happened. Fast forward a little bit, it had gotten really bad to the point where moving my legs hurt me really bad. If I tried to stand up, my legs would start shaking and I would collapse. So they ended up taking me to a hospital. I was in the hospital for a week before they figured out what was wrong with me. I went to Nemours Children's Hospital in Orlando. I remember getting really scared because I didn't like being away from home sleeping at the time, because I didn't have all the sleep problems I did now. Now I do much better sleeping away from home, but yeah. So I was stuck in a hospital. I threw a fit the first night I was there. Blankets on the floor. I was banging on the door. I was just crying hysterically. it was bad. And the nurses tried to sedate me. Yeah, so that's how bad it was. So I went through several EEGs while I was there. If you don't know what an EEG is, it's where they attach wires to your brain. It makes you look like cyborg or something. Cyborg? Yeah. It makes you look like some kind of robot. And I had like wires attached to my head to monitor my brain activity. And I got those a lot, so I was used to it just for my epilepsy. I got a lot of EEGs. So I got a lot of EEGs done. They were testing me. They got me to use a walker, but it was like really hard for me to use because it was hard to move my legs at all. So they did not know what was wrong with me, and I had to be on the epilepsy medication. I didn't know at the time. My ankles were sensitive, and it got to the point where I couldn't walk. So they tried all sorts of things. Then they took me off my epilepsy medication, and I started getting a little bit better. I had to go to physical therapy to get all the muscle back in my legs that I had lost. It was just really bad. And I was in the hospital for about a week. I was going to multiple neurology appointments and different doctors, and no one could figure out what was going on with me. It got to the point I was so scared. Keep in mind, I am not even in the second grade yet when this is all going on. And I was just really scared. So I'm 7 years old in a wheelchair, and the thing that bothered me the most about what was going on was the looks I got when I was in public. Like, people would stare at me and, like, you know, mostly curious little kids that, like, everyone does it, like, wondering what happened to me. But, yeah, I was in a wheelchair, and I didn't I liked it at first because I thought it was cool and I wouldn't have to walk on my sore foot anymore, but I didn't like the looks I got in public, so, yeah. Fast forward a little bit, they got me to end up using a walker, and my one leg that was hurting less was getting a little better, and so I started to get more and more better, and they pretty much knew it was the seizure medication at this point. I don't remember what it was called. I don't remember what the medication was called, but it ended up being a result of that medication. And I had to get so many MRIs. And the thing is, I would crack my ankles a lot because, I don't know, I thought that was the problem. So I would just crack my ankles all the time. And, no, I can't do it now. While I was doing an MRI, they would give me this medication to put me under because I would move so much. And they had me watch a show to help me fall asleep. But they told me not to eat, and I ended up eating because I was just so hungry. They said 24 hours you can't eat, which I was 7, so can't just be like, you can't eat. I was starving. I was moody because I was starving. So I snuck a little snack. And I threw up the next day, but not during my EEG. I was fine during my EEG. It was after I got back, I woke up, and it was that night, and I threw up in my bed. It was really bad. I'm sorry. I've said it was really bad 100 times, but it was really bad. When I was starting to go into second grade, I was starting to get a little bit better. I still had to use crutches to help me get around, just as a guide, as my parents called it, but my ankles still really hurt. I was getting better though. I started to walk on my own. The ending of the story is a little, I don't remember everything, but I remember the first time I had walked since then, I didn't use my crutches. It was just kind of like me, you know how when you are a baby and you take a couple steps, but you just fall into your mother's lap. That's pretty much what it was like, but I fell into the couch. Yeah. So I'd gotten better. It ended up okay. Like, I can walk now, I'm fine, obviously. It was just really scary because I was really young and I didn't know what was happening to me. And I know a couple of my friends probably remember this if you knew me then. If you knew me from dance and you knew that I had that brace on me. And yeah, it was just a really horrible experience for me because I was so young and I didn't know what was going on and I didn't know if I was going to be okay. The only thing my parents were concerned about was, even though the rest of my muscles were fine and it was just my legs, they were concerned that because my heart was a muscle that my heart would weaken. I did have some chest pain, but I think that was just anxiety because I was scared and I didn't know what was going on. Something I remember very specifically was the movie I watched when I was doing the MRI was Judy Moody and the Not So Bummer Summer. So that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a nice day. Bye.